AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she uninvited my wife, but kept inviting our kids. I, 35M, have a younger sister, Emily, 32F, who's getting married in a few weeks. For most of our lives, Emily and I have had a solid relationship, though we've never been super close. She's the kind of person who always wanted a storybook life, perfect fiancé, dream wedding, curated Instagram aesthetic, while I've always been more down-to-earth and private. I've been married to my wife, Cara, 34F, for almost 9 years. We have 2 kids, Oliver, 7, and Mia, 5. Cara is thoughtful, funny, and very grounded, but she's also not the kind of person who blends in quietly at family gatherings. She's outspoken, especially when she sees something unfair or phony. My family tends to be polite to a fault, preferring to keep the peace even when there's clear tension. So, naturally, Cara stands out. For years, Emily and Cara have had this strange undercurrent of friction. Nothing dramatic, just small passive-aggressive remarks that add up. Emily once called Cara a little intense for family dinners, and Cara once told Emily her fiancé, Jake, 36M, seemed a bit performative. I told Cara to maybe keep opinions like that to herself, but she said she wasn't being rude, just honest. Fast forward to 6 months ago when Emily got engaged. She immediately dove into full wedding mode. Pinterest boards, weekly group texts, dress fittings, cake tastings, the whole thing. I was happy for her. Cara was too, and even offered to help with decor ideas since she's great with design. Emily politely declined, saying she already had a theme in mind. The first red flag came during the planning stages. Emily created a wedding party planning group chat that included me, our parents, her maid of honor, and Jake's best man, but not Cara. I noticed right away, but didn't say anything. Then, about a month ago, formal invitations went out. Ours arrived, addressed to Mark and family. When Cara opened it, she frowned. The RSVP card had checkboxes for me, Oliver, and Mia, but none for her. I thought it had to be a printing mistake. I called Emily that night to clear it up. Her response floored me. She said, "Oh, that's not a mistake. I decided not to invite Cara." At first, I laughed because I assumed she was joking, but she was dead serious. She said that after a lot of thinking, she realized she didn't want unnecessary tension on her wedding day and that Cara's energy doesn't match the vibe. I asked what that even meant, and she said Cara can be a little judgmental and combative, citing that time 2 years ago when Cara questioned Jake's plan to quit his stable job and start a podcast full-time. I told Emily that was ridiculous. Cara was just concerned because Jake had no income at the time. Emily said, "Exactly. That's the problem. She doesn't know when to stay in her lane." Then Emily added, "Of course, Oliver and Mia are absolutely welcome. Everyone would love to see them." I told her that if my wife wasn't welcome, none of us would be attending. She called me dramatic and said I was punishing her for setting boundaries. I said excluding your brother's wife isn't a boundary, it's an insult. Since then, my parents have been trying to smooth things over. My mom says I should just let it go for one day and attend with the kids so Emily doesn't look bad. My dad is more neutral, but clearly wants peace. Cara told me she'd support whatever I decided, but admitted the uninvite really hurt her. She said she'd prefer I didn't go because attending would show Emily that disrespecting your spouse is acceptable. Last week, Emily called again, supposedly to find a compromise. Her idea of compromise? I could come alone, and she'd set up a kids' table so Oliver and Mia could still be there. I asked if she really thought I'd bring our children to a wedding that their mother wasn't allowed to attend. She said, "They're too young to notice anyway." That pushed me over the edge. I told her she was being cruel, controlling, and hypocritical. She hung up crying and later sent a long message about how I'm choosing Cara over family. I responded that Cara is my family. Now my phone's been blowing up for days. My mom says Emily's devastated and that the guest list is locked. So if I don't RSVP soon, she'll have to explain to guests why her brother isn't coming. A few relatives have texted saying I should be the bigger person. One even said, "It's just one day, not your marriage." But I can't shake how wrong this feels. I wouldn't even want to attend a wedding where my wife is deliberately excluded like some villain. Still, part of me wonders if I'm letting pride get in the way, especially since my kids adore their aunt and don't understand why they're not going. Last night, my mom called again, begging me to reconsider. She said Emily's stress levels are through the roof, and the thought of family drama is making her sick. I asked if Emily has any remorse. Mom said Emily stands by her decision, but wishes I'd just support her anyway. So here I am, caught between supporting my wife, who's done nothing to deserve this, and trying not to blow up my relationship with my sister. Part of me feels guilty for not being there for her big day. The other part of me can't stomach rewarding that kind of exclusion. For context, Emily has always been the golden child in the family. When she was younger, she could do no wrong. Even when she threw tantrums, my parents called it expressing herself. When I pushed back, I was too harsh. It's the same dynamic now. I stand up for fairness, and somehow I'm the difficult one. Kara told me this morning that she's fine either way, but I can tell she's not. She feels humiliated. And honestly, so do I. I can't imagine walking into that wedding alone, pretending everything's fine while everyone whispers about why my wife isn't there. Still, I keep wondering, is skipping the wedding the right call? Or am I being just as stubborn as my sister? AITA for refusing to go to my sister's wedding after she uninvited my wife, but kept inviting our kids? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's replacement wedding after she canceled her first one the day before. So I, 29F, have one sister, Emma, 32F. We've always been close in that typical sibling way. Lots of bickering, lots of making up. She's the outgoing, dramatic one, while I'm more practical and tend to plan things to the last detail. She calls me boring. I call her chaotic. Somehow it's always worked out. Until now. Emma got engaged about 2 years ago to this guy, Mark, 35M. Everyone in our family genuinely liked him. He's calm, polite, hardworking, basically the opposite of Emma, which we all thought was a good balance. They planned a big wedding for last summer, about 150 guests, rented a vineyard, the works. I was maid of honor and spent months helping her with planning. Coordinating vendors, tastings, dress fittings, everything. The wedding was supposed to be on Saturday. On Friday morning, literally the day before, Emma called me crying, saying she couldn't do it. She said Mark was too predictable and that she didn't feel the spark anymore. I honestly thought she was having last-minute nerves, so I went to her place to calm her down. But she was dead serious. She said she felt trapped and that marrying him would be settling. She called off the entire wedding. One day before. Cue absolute chaos. Guests were already in town, the venue was paid for, vendors had been booked and paid. My parents were devastated and furious. Mark, poor guy, was blindsided. He tried to talk to her, but she refused. She told everyone she needed to find herself. I ended up spending that weekend helping our parents deal with vendors and guests because Emma locked herself in her apartment to process. It was humiliating. I had to field calls from relatives asking what happened. My parents lost thousands in non-refundable deposits. After that, Emma went radio silent for about 3 months. She quit her job, traveled around South America to think, and posted these vague, inspirational quotes about choosing herself. Whatever. I tried to stay supportive, even though I thought what she did to Mark was awful. Fast forward to this year. Out of nowhere, Emma announces she and Mark are back together. Apparently, she'd reached out to him while she was traveling, apologized, and somehow convinced him to give her another chance. I honestly don't know how he did it, but they're back on. Then, brace yourself, she announces they're getting married again. Same venue, same vendors, same everything. She even said, "It's like the wedding that should have been." I thought it was a joke, but she's dead serious. She asked me to be maid of honor again. I told her flat out, no, I said I couldn't go through all that again. I didn't want to spend months helping her plan only for her to possibly pull the plug again. I said I loved her, but she'd already put everyone through emotional and financial hell once, and I wasn't doing it again. She started crying, saying this time it's different and that I'm punishing her for growing as a person. I told her I wasn't punishing her, I just didn't want to participate in something that might implode again. I said I'd be happy to attend as a guest if the wedding actually happened, but I wasn't taking any official role. She was hurt, but I thought she'd get over it. Except she didn't. A few weeks later, my mom called and said Emma was heartbroken and that I should reconsider. My mom said, "You know how she is, emotional, impulsive, but she's trying this time." My dad, surprisingly, agreed with me, saying, "We're not wasting another dime on her theatrics." Then Emma called again, saying if I didn't come to the wedding at all, she'd take it as me cutting her out of my life. I told her that wasn't fair, that I loved her, but I wasn't going to rearrange my life and risk another disaster. She said, "So you're going to punish me for changing my mind about love?" I told her she's free to do whatever she wants with her love life, but I'm also free not to get emotionally dragged into her drama again. She hung up on me. Fast forward to last month. She sent out the new wedding invitations. Everyone got one, except me. She apparently told family that I refused to support her marriage and that I was being spiteful. My mom begged me to apologize just to keep the peace, but I refused. I said if Emma wanted to talk like an adult, I'd be open to that, but I wasn't groveling for something I didn't do. Now, the wedding is next week. Half of my relatives are calling me cold and unforgiving. The other half think Emma is delusional for trying to recreate the exact same event she destroyed the first time. Here's the kicker. Mark actually reached out to me privately. He said he understood why I was hesitant and that he didn't blame me. He said he loves Emma, but admitted he's nervous too. He asked me if I consider coming, even if just to make peace with Emma. He said she's been fragile lately. I told him I'd think about it, but honestly, I don't see how showing up fixes anything. If I go, it feels like I'm condoning her behavior, like saying it's okay to blow up people's lives and expect everyone to applaud when you decide to undo it. But if I don't go, I'll be the sister who ruined the family reunion. The part that really gets me is how Emma keeps framing it like I'm the one making things difficult. She's been telling people I won't forgive her mistake. But this wasn't some small slip-up. She humiliated her fiancé, cost my parents thousands, and left me to deal with the fallout. And now I'm the bad guy because I won't clap for the sequel? My boyfriend thinks I should stick to my boundaries. He says Emma is used to being the center of attention and that she'll just spin whatever narrative gets her the most sympathy. My mom, though, keeps crying that family is all we have. I genuinely don't know anymore. Maybe I'm being too rigid. Maybe it's not my place to hold her accountable. But I also feel like she never truly apologized for the chaos she caused. She just moved on like it never happened and expected everyone else to do the same. So now I'm stuck wondering, am I really the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's second wedding after the first one was an absolute disaster that she caused? Or am I just tired of cleaning up her messes? AITA for refusing to help my sister with her wedding after she told me I wasn't fit to be a bridesmaid. So I, 28F, have always had a complicated relationship with my older sister, Claire, 31F. She's always been the golden child in our family, the one who got straight A's, the one who was prom queen, the one who always seemed to have her life together. I was the awkward, artsy kid who dyed my hair weird colors and preferred sketching in my room to socializing. My parents loved me, but it was clear growing up that Claire could do no wrong, and I was the creative one that didn't quite understand. Despite that, I've always tried to support Claire. I attended every dance recital, graduation, and work event she invited me to. When she got engaged to her fiancé, Mark, 33M, last year, I was genuinely happy for her. He's a nice enough guy, though kind of passive. I assumed I'd be part of the bridal party since we're sisters, and she'd been my maid of honor at my small courthouse wedding 4 years ago. Well, a few months ago, Claire invited me to brunch to talk about wedding stuff. I showed up thinking it would be fun, maybe dress shopping or cake tasting. Instead, she sat me down like she was about to deliver bad news. She said, "So about the bridesmaids, I've been thinking a lot, and I just don't think it's the best idea for you to be one." I laughed, thinking she was joking, but she wasn't. She explained that her wedding had a very specific aesthetic, classic, elegant, neutral tones, and that she was worried my style would clash. I had pink hair at the time and some visible tattoos on my arms. I told her I could easily cover my tattoos and even dye my hair back to brown if that made her more comfortable. But she said it wasn't just that. She said she didn't think I fit the vibe and that she wanted bridesmaids who photographed well together. That hurt. I asked if this was really about looks, and she said, "It's not personal. You just stand out too much, and I don't want attention taken away from me." I was so stunned I just said, "Okay," and left. I cried in my car for a while before driving home. My husband was furious when I told him, but I asked him not to say anything. I decided I'd still attend the wedding and try to be supportive from the sidelines. A few weeks later, Claire called again, acting super cheerful, like nothing had happened. She asked if I could help design the wedding invitations since I'm a graphic designer. I said sure. It would be my gift to her. I spent hours working on different designs, and she kept rejecting every version, saying they were too modern or too quirky. She eventually sent me a Pinterest board of bland beige templates and said, "Can you just copy this?" I did, even though it went against everything I normally create. She loved it and gushed about how professional it looked, but never once said thank you. Then came the wedding shower. I wasn't part of the planning, but I showed up with a nice gift and tried to have fun. At one point, Claire's friends were talking about how beautiful the bridesmaids' dresses were, and one of them said, "Claire, why didn't her sister want to join?" Claire laughed and said, "Oh, I just didn't think she'd feel comfortable in something so traditional. She's more of a free spirit." Everyone chuckled awkwardly, and I just smiled to keep from crying. Fast forward to 2 weeks before the wedding. Claire called again, this time sounding stressed. Apparently, one of her bridesmaids dropped out due to a family emergency. She asked if I could step in last minute because she really needed someone she could trust. I was honestly shocked. I asked, "So now I fit the aesthetic?" She got defensive and said, "Don't make this about that. I just need your help." I told her I'd think about it. After talking with my husband, I decided no. I didn't want to be a last-minute replacement just because someone else bailed. I texted her that I loved her, but I wasn't comfortable joining the bridal party after everything she'd said. I offered to still attend the wedding as a guest and help with logistics if needed. She flipped. She accused me of being selfish and unsupportive, saying I was punishing her for being honest. She said, "You know, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I just wanted everything to look perfect." I told her that my feelings weren't a design flaw to be edited out of her wedding photos. That didn't go over well. Since then, my parents have been divided. My mom thinks I should just let it go and help my sister on her big day, saying I'm making things harder than they need to be. My dad quietly told me he understands why I'm upset, but he doesn't want to get in the middle. Claire hasn't spoken to me directly in over a month, though she keeps posting about fake support and people showing their true colors on social media. The wedding is next weekend, and I've already RSVP'd as a guest. Yesterday, her maid of honor, her best friend from college, called and said Claire was having cold feet about the missing bridesmaid and asked if I could just show up early that day and fill in unofficially so the group photos looked balanced. I said no. She sighed and said, "You're really going to ruin her photos over pride?" Now I'm wondering if I'm being prideful. I don't want to cause a scene or make the day about me. But I also don't think I should have to jump in at the last minute for someone who made it clear I wasn't good enough to stand beside her in the first place. My husband says I've done more than enough. My mom keeps guilt-tripping me, saying sisters forgive each other. And part of me feels guilty. I don't want to look back and regret not being there for her. But another part of me is just tired of being treated like an accessory that only matters when it's convenient. So here I am, a week before her wedding, feeling torn between standing my ground and keeping the peace. AITA for refusing to help my sister with her wedding after she told me I wasn't fit to be a bridesmaid.